Hello everyone. Yeah, that is a question I get a lot. How the heck do you get all of these cars to test? Since, I don't know, 5 years ago, I started getting more and more cars to test for my main channel Battery Life and my German channel Battery Life DE. I've had, I don't know how many. It's way too many. I know it's been around 54 different cars I've tested, but this doesn't include different variations, all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, different battery sizes, if there's a facelift coming out or a different version of the same car. So I'm guessing 150 around this. I have no idea. In the beginning, when I started, I got my cars, and the first one I got was the Hyundai Kona electric, which was amazing at the time, and I got it for 3 days from a local dealer. So it was a Hyundai dealer, or Hyundai, I don't know how to say it, and they have Cupra too, which is a weird combination, Cupra and Hyundai. I asked them, and once I got the car just for an hour or so, and I made a video, and then, or to 2 hours, I can't remember. And then the second time they gave it to me over a few days, and I made 27 videos in 3 days with this car. I filmed it all on my phone. It was a lot of fun, but that's all I did. Before I planned what will I show, I read the manual before. I don't do this anymore because it would take way too long. I didn't do anything else. I worked normally, and then in the afternoon and in the evening, all I thought of what videos will I film with this car. It was awesome. It was something special. I still think what I will film with a car when I know I get the car, but not in so much details and detail, and not 27 videos on one car. I mean, I made a video of the top speed going in reverse. Really, everything, regen levels. I slowed down and measured how fast it went down from 70 down to 20 in different regen levels, because the Hyundai Kona back in the day had, I think, 3. Now there's 4. Nobody could hold the thing, and I think it was even more. Something like this, doesn't matter. But right now, in 2024, how I get the cars to test, 99% are press cars, and 1% sometimes when I cannot get a press car, I ask a dealer and maybe they give me the car for a few hours. The problem with cars from a dealership is, first of all, I can't get the car very long. So I'm going there, I'm picking up the car, there's paperwork has to be done, I'm getting a key to the car. Usually the dealer is not right around the corner, sometimes in Regensburg, in Nuremberg, I have to go a bit. And then I have a few hours to make my tests, to get familiar with the car, test everything I wanted to film. And then the worst, usually they don't let me drive that much. And even once I wanted a Mercedes EQS, they wanted me to pay a deposit of 2,000 euros or 1,000 euros, and I was allowed to drive 150 kilometers. And I said, that's nothing. I can't do anything with it. I cannot test anything, and I'm not paying a deposit for a car. What is this? You're giving out cars to everyone. I don't know. That wasn't nice. But I did it with a Renault Megane E-Tech because Renault didn't want to give me press cars, and I don't know if I get the Scenic. We'll see. I hope so. It would be nice. They were a bit more talkative this time. With the Megane back in the day, they just said no, you're not getting any. And I got this from a dealer, and I had it for a few hours, and I think I had it even a day or so. Yes, I had it a day, and I could drive 400 or 500 kilometers, so that was nice. But usually that's not the case. Usually it's an afternoon and it's 300 or 400 kilometers max, and then you have to bring it back. So dealerships, you get the car a bit early sometimes, because sometimes dealers get a car that people can drive to test earlier than press cars, because the way it works is always the same. There's a press event, media drive with a car. Then there's an embargo, so you cannot tell anyone that you're driving this car, or you can say that you drove this car, but you cannot show the video how the driving is. And then on a certain day, everyone of the press can put out the media what's happening, how the drive was, and how and publish the video and everything, or the articles if they do print paper. And usually around that same day, at the same time, car dealers get the cars for people to test out the car, and then press cars are coming later, because the cars from the press event have to be it was somewhere, doesn't have to be in Germany or whatever the press department is. And then they have to build more cars, and then the cars that were at the press event have to be cleaned, and everything has to be looked at if everything is fine, and it usually takes a bit. And then I'm not a big YouTuber, I'm on the bottom, so the gigantic YouTubers get the cars first, or they have good connection to the manufacturers in this. So 99% of the cars I get are press cars from manufacturers. And how that works is very, very simple. If you go to the press page of a special manufacturer, just put in the brand and then press. And then there's press contact, and usually there's one person who's in charge of test vehicles, and it even says this. Press cars, test vehicles, something like this, influencer, something according to this. And you contact that person, write them an email and say, hey, I have a YouTube channel, I have this many subscribers, my videos get this many views. In average, would you want to give me a press car so I can test it and make videos about it? And the manufacturers is just doing a calculation. Okay, how press cars work overall, have to explain that first. The manufacturers brings you the car that you want to test to your door. So they have another company where someone is driving the car to you. I had a few that came with a transporter. I don't know why, but 99% more are being driven to you. So somebody that's employed, a mini job or something, is bringing the car to you. And this costs money. It's not for free. It's the power for going that distance, and a company has to organize getting that person to drive to you, and then that person has to get back home, and then the other way around when they pick the car up. So he has to travel to you and then pick up the car and drive it back where it belongs to. So this costs money. It's not for free. I don't think it's a gigantic sum, but still the manufacturer has to calculate, okay, it costs this much to transport the car to this person. Are the videos that he makes, or the person makes, or the group makes, are this interesting to us? Will this further our sale? Can we have an advantage when this person has this car? And of course, they take a gamble in the beginning, and maybe they try, and some manufacturers say, no, we're not going to try, you have to be extremely big, then you get a car. For example, Porsche. Porsche doesn't give me cars, and I was in contact with them a lot, and they say, no, you're just too small. You don't get a car because you're too small. The other thing is Mercedes. They gave me a car once, the EQA. I made a lot of videos and they weren't negative. Cindy didn't like the car, but I said a lot of good things about the car. And then they came back to me, they analyzed the videos, and they don't think this is good for their brand, so you're not getting any cars anymore. And this is how I make videos. I tell the truth. I don't shy away if something is not good. I don't have to push on it, and all I do is say that this is a crappy car. But it has to be mentioned if something is not amazing, or if it's not to my liking. But then I also say it. I don't like this. Other people may find it differently. For me, this is a bit negative. You can make your own opinion. I say this all the time. So this is how you do it. You contact, and then you hope you get a car. And I was extremely lucky. I contacted Volkswagen in, I think 2019, 2020. I can't remember. I think it was before that even. and I got the first press car ever, and it was a Volkswagen e-up back in the day, and it was amazing. They brought the car to my door. I didn't get a charging card. This is also something that's different with every car. Some cars, they bring you the cars and they say, if you have to charge, that's your problem. We do not pay for charging, because that means we giving you money for your videos, and this is not how we work. And other brands have a charging card in there. They say you charge what you want. If you drive a lot, then we pay for charging, it's fine. And then other brands say you charge what you need, and then afterwards you give us the bill, you show us what you have charged, and we pay for the charging for you. That's, every brand is different. And Volkswagen gave me the e-up. It came, and how it usually works. So again, 90% of the cars, again more, I have the cars for 2 weeks. BMW, for whatever reason, I get it for 1 week. And right now they would be okay. Back in the day when I wasn't 95% YouTube, also almost full time, this was stress, because I worked for 4 or 5 days, and then I had to make a video on 1 or 2 days, even though I had the car for a week. And now I have more time, I could make more with it. But that's, BMW was like that. And the shortest I ever had, I had a Kia EV6 GT for 2 days once, and once, which was nice, I wasn't invited to the driving event of the Skoda Enyaq RS, the extra name, 80. Back in the day, I wasn't invited to test drive or anything, and they didn't want to give me a press car. What they did is they had a driver who drove the car to different influencers or YouTube content creators, and then for the day they could have the car, and then he drove on to the next, stayed overnight, brought it to the next person, and for days. So that's what he did, travel on. And so I got the car for 5 hours or so, which was also not bad. I didn't have to go somewhere to drive a car, they came to me. Was really cool. So I had more time, and it was in my turf. I knew what to do. I like that way of doing, and I didn't have to organize a press event. There was, which is also different, by the way. In this car there was papers, what the car can do, what they would like you to say about this car, what they think is amazing with this car, not just the specifications, also what's new and something like this. And every car maker is different here. Volvo is amazing with this. When you get a Volvo, you get a little map with papers in there, even a USB stick with all the data and pictures and videos, and then everything that your press car has. So it tells you all the data from size, what battery type, all the motors. So really in detail, which is amazing. But most others, you don't get anything. You get the car and they say bye. And so, like I said, most cars I get for 2 weeks. So somebody brings a car next Tuesday, today is Saturday, next Tuesday I will get a Skoda Enyaq 85X. That's the all-wheel drive version of the new Skoda Enyaq with the new hardware. And this will be interesting because it has again 210 kilowatt like my ID.7, just with rear-wheel drive, but it's all-wheel drive, so it's different motorized thing. So I can test other things. How is it with range? Because maybe it has a different motor and stuff. I have to research this, how this all works. That will be interesting. So it will be delivered on Tuesday, then I have it for 2 weeks, and then it will be picked up again. And what I try to do, if I plan all of my cars, I try to overlap them by 1 day. So a car is coming on Tuesday, and it's another car being picked up on a Tuesday, and then I have it for 2 weeks. And this is how I plan out these cars. And some manufacturers are so nice when there is, like Volvo, if there are multiple versions of a car, I get them after each other or very close, because for them it's also cheaper if they bring a car, and then when they pick up the car they can drive the other car there. So it's not 2 people who have to do something, or in 2 events, and they don't have to pay for bringing the person back, which is also cool. So I got the all-wheel drive version of the Volvo EX30, battery, and then the single motor version rear wheel drive right after it. So for 4 weeks I had a Volvo EX30. And this is very cool. And how it works is, like I said, I write an email with everything. Hey, this is what I do. And I still have to do that now, by the way, because there's so many manufacturers where I don't get a car, or rarely get a car. Kia, I don't get too many cars. Hyundai is pretty good, but also not very often. And there's a lot like Renault, Ford. There's so much, Stellantis, the whole thing, Peugeot and whatever. I had one car, and again, they didn't like what I did, but it was also a crappy car, I'm sorry. I couldn't say that this is amazing in range when it has horrible range, and that I cannot even see the state of charge in the car. I had to use the app to see the state of charge. Back then, it wasn't a good car, and I didn't say it's a crappy car, I just said how it is. How you have to see the state of charge, you have to do it in the app. And at the range, it was in the winter too, wasn't very good. So they don't give me any cars, but they're also not amazing cars, and they're not coming up with new amazing things. It's the same motor and the same battery for a long time in many, many different cars. So yeah, that's a bit sad. And other brands. But I contacted, like I said, I contacted the test vehicle department. Hopefully they write back. Many times nobody writes back. So not thank you for your email, we are sorry we cannot offer you a car right now. That happens. I wrote Rolls-Royce once for a Spectre, and they said sorry, we have many demands and you are not where we would deliver a car to, because again, they didn't say it, but I'm just too small. And I get it, and I was very thankful that they replied. I just tried. I even contacted Rematch, but of course, hello, a $2 million hypercar I don't get to range test, even though I asked them. I said, everybody's doing this, but nobody shows the range. It would be very interesting. I even come to you, to Croatia, and do it, but again, no reply. It happens a lot. And if you get a reply, they might say, may have other questions, what would you want to do with the car? And we looked at your videos, very interesting, blah, 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 blah. And then some say, okay, we don't have a car right now, the car will come later. Or we don't have a car right now because it's planned out. I can offer you a car from when would you want the car? And I say, what about this week or this week? And then they say, sorry, so you have to do scheduling. And then once it's done, usually they send you how you say that? Not a protocol, but it's not a contract, but it's very similar. It says that this person is getting this car, and it says exactly what car from when to when, and where the delivery is, and when it's going to be picked up, where is the pickup thing and everything. It says everything in the paper, so you know for you self, okay, I get it from here to here, and it's this and this car, so that you can say, oh, I wanted something different, for example, they made a mistake or something. So this is really cool. And then how it should work, but sometimes it doesn't work that way, sadly, is that a day before the delivery, and if it's a Monday and then they do it on the Friday, you get a call from the company who does the delivering of the cars. Hey, you're getting this car on Monday. Is the address right? Yes. And the plan is the car should come around 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. And so thank you, and then we do everything, and that's it. And then usually on the day of the delivery, an hour before or half an hour before, in that window, if everything works fine, I get a call, hey, I'm half an hour away. Do you want the car washed? Is there a gas station with a car wash in the area? And I have to deliver the car at 80%, but it will take longer. Is it okay if it comes with a lower state of charge or something? So for example, if it's a car that's I have to charge, then it would be nice if it will arrive with 80%, so don't have to pay for the extra charge. Or because and I don't want to give a driver who picks it up a car with a low state of charge. The poor person, he just traveled all the way here, and then he gets 20% car, and I don't want to do this. I'm not mean. And then he comes, I look around the car if there's any scratches, because it has to be noted. If I don't look and it has a scratch and he finds it when he picks up the car, then it was my fault. Then I made the scratch. So I look around, look at the state of charge, the odometer, how many kilometers do I drive in this time. And usually he takes pictures, it depends on the company, and it makes a whole contract. You have to sign it and everything. And some, they just, here is the thing you sign and they're off in 2 minutes. And then the pickup process is the same. Day before, driver is coming, picking up the car. It will be around this time, and then he calls, I'm now here, I should be there in an hour. He comes, checks the car, writes the odometer down, I give him the key, he looks if everything is in there, charging cable and whatnot, and then he drives on. And then this was one car, and then the next car comes, and this is how it works. And this is how I get my cars. So press cars are the thing to go. And it's, again, it's always a balance for the manufacturer too. They give me a car, they want hopefully a positive review that I like the car and I show the positive things about the car. But I'm showing everything, so if something is negative, I show it too. And they have to live with it, but they have to risk, of course. They want to sell more cars, they want to do advertising. Advertising is nowadays not just done with a dealership or with advertising in print media or TV or advertising on the internet. Some YouTube videos or I don't know where, other platforms is just something, Instagram, Twitter and so on, is just something important. That's why content creators are getting more and more to doing this, because it's amazing advertising. Because even though you make the exact same video that someone else, so Björn Nieland's style of testing is very similar to mine, and when you see a new car coming out, so from a press car event, from a media drive, 90% of the videos are exactly the same. They show off the car, they drive a bit, they show how to talk about how the drive is, and it's being shown how the car drives by and with the drone footage and stuff. 90% are exactly the same, but people have the preferences and their languages. So if someone in Britain does it and if someone in Sweden does it, of course it's Swedish, in here it's in English, or in France or in Germany. So you have different languages, and then people like other people more. Some people are watching this guy because he's amazing, and some people want to watch this woman because she's amazing. They want the style that she's presenting and what is important to her, and that's how it works. So if the same is with me, when I do a range test and someone else is doing a range test, some like the way he does it or she does it, and some like the way I do it, and that's totally normal and fine. And again, for the manufacturers it is, I have to pay. So you have a car, hopefully you test it in a way that a lot of people are seeing the positive things, and that maybe people are convinced that they want to buy this car. That's how it works. And of course, if I get a car and I make videos how shit this car is, I never get a car again. If it's not rooted in something really true. So if I get a car and it's just crap, it doesn't do what it should do, and it's not broken, I have to tell that. But if I get a car that's not to my liking at all, but I know that some people will like this, they want this because of, for whatever reason, I have to say this is a car for the people who need this. For someone who wants to do other things, this is not a good car. This is how I do my videos. And the manufacturer have to decide, yes, I want to do this way. And by the way, what I'm saying, all of this here is totally different in other countries. When you are in Norway or I don't know where, it's not the manufacturers, it's the importer into that country that gives out the cars. And this could be totally different people. They have nothing to do with the manufacturer, and they even have different brands. So they have Volkswagen and BMW and Mercedes, but for whatever reason not Audi or so. It can be totally different. But in Germany and for me, it's press cars from the manufacturers. And I've heard so many times, manufacturers are gonna not give out press cars, it costs too much. they want to sell cars and not leave the car for them, and then some stupid people like me are testing the cars. But I see the exact opposite. Everyone is getting press cars and more, because content creating is more and more interesting and more advertising and better, because people believe content creator more about testing an electric car, and they see the range that it did, and they see the result, and they see what he says about, or she, about the car, then when they just make advertising. Nobody believes that. That's just how it is. And the timing when I get cars had also to do with the brand and how important I am for them. So for example, if I go to Ford and I want to drive the new Ford Explorer, they might say, we don't know this guy, he never had a car from us, we give it to this guy because he did it before and it was great videos, and then this guy, and then this guy, and then this, and then I get it, because they all get it for at least a week, because the ones who do a lot of tests, they don't get it for very long, because they don't have the time. They move from car to car, they have a car maximum a week, usually 1, 2, 3 days, make the video and then go to the next event in the next car. Not like me, who has a car for 2 weeks and tests everything with one car. That's just the difference. But everyone wants something different. More on the surface, or like me, I'm going deep. Not too deep, so not mega technical, testing out exactly the battery, what this does and everything. But you know what I do. And so I get the car very late. And for example, with Volkswagen, where I have a good connection and I drove the ID3 and I drive the ID7, they just give me a car a bit earlier. So it's possible that there's a press event that I'm invited to, but I can't go for whatever reason, or I don't want to go. And then those cars come back to Germany, and then a month later I get a car to test. And then of course, that's amazing for me. The earlier you get a car, the more there's interest. So if tomorrow a new car comes out and I can test this get more views if I get it 6 months later, when everyone else already did videos, and then it's like, yeah, I drive this car for 4 months. Why would I watch this video? Totally normal. So that's how it works. This is how I get my cars. These are mostly press cars, and I'm very excited that I get so many cars. And I think from February on till now, mid of October, except for 3 or 4 weeks in between, I had press cars the whole time. And this is important to me because it's, since I'm making so many videos a week right now, 5 videos, I try to make a lot. It's easier for me to come up with video ideas when I have a press car, because I can test so many things with it, from the infotainment system, range, charging, space, and overall review, driving review. I don't know, there's so many things that I can do with the space in the trunk and so on. And acceleration, because that's what's interesting to me, and this is what I want to show. And if I don't have a car, I have to come up with other video ideas or test Hank, my ID7. But that's it. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry that the last video was, I think, 2 weeks ago. I was really busy with the normal channel. Then of course this channel, since it only has 800 subscribers and only 500 or 600 people are watching the video, it is then of course, if I had to edit the other videos where thousands of people are watching, of course this is more important. I'm sorry, but my livelihood depends on it. But that's it for me. You have a great day. Bye.